Scanning for audio.
Welcome to a Tin Dog podcast. This time talking about Torchwood 50X. Now, does that mean it's the 50th anniversary or 50th edition? But it's not, because let's face it, we all know what happened to special issue number 50. Does this mean we're not going to get number 50? Does 50X mean something? Nobody's really explained it to me. Perhaps I should start this podcast again. No, let's just keep going. Let's plough on as always. Because let's face it, this one's called The Black Knight, and it's by Elizabeth Miles. Yes, the voice you've heard on Verity for all these years. Still churning out fantastic Doctor Who's. And let's face it, I will put my hand up and say at this point, this is the best thing she's written for Big Finish, bar none. As far as I'm concerned, this is the pinnacle of the work that's been done and been released, because it's just brilliant. It's a cracking story. I mean, it's a truly great story. But best of all, she's written Norton Folgate perfectly. Now, I genuinely thought that you needed to be a fan of Round the Horn to be able to produce this, to be able to write for Norton Folgate. She's managed to capture Norton at a certain point in his career absolutely spot on. Yes, Samuel Barnett brings, always his A game when he's playing Norton. Norton is absolutely my all-time favourite Torchwood character, and I'm sorry to everyone else who I still love, because you all know, as listeners to this show, that I absolutely think that Torchwood belongs on audio, and absolutely 100% believe that it's possibly the best thing that Big Finish do, because it's simultaneously incredibly dark, very funny, and just lends itself so perfectly to this. And as usual, we've got a very small cast. Look, rather than just have me enthuse at you for a bit, let me just look at some facts, shall we? First thought, let's have a look at the synopsis. A brilliant scientist detects an asteroid destroying any craft entering Earth's orbit. Is it protecting the human race or imprisoning it? Only one person believes her, and that person is from Torchwood. Norton Folgate is taking Lynne Sharman on a journey of her life. This is just ridiculously good. It's 1950s, it's the British rocket group, never actually called that, and we really, really could have been a contender. See, in the Second World War at the end, we all split the Nazis up. Some Nazis ran in the direction of Russia, and there's a Mel Brooks sketch about this, I'm sure you can track down. But basically, everyone who was really good at rocketry that was in Germany was split up into smaller groups. And one side wanted to be liberated by the Americans because they had, nice foods and stuff like that. And the other side was kind of liberated by the Russians. In the splitting up, we got some. What we actually got was the technology of some of the rocket boosters. We got, now don't laugh, the peroxide rocket fuel system. Yeah, peroxide, the stuff that you can dye your hair with. But it is a reasonable rocket fuel. So we did have a British rocket program, and it kind of died out sort of the 70s. But there was satellites and all sorts. We could have really pushed for it, but we had no money. We'd practically bankrupted ourselves for the Second World War. And so that's the reality. Fictionally, we've got Bernard Quatermass and the British Rocket Group, and then we've got the British Rocket Group being mentioned in Doctor Who. Such things have reoccurred time and time again, but in fiction, we were more Dan Dare. In reality, we were like the guy in Never Say Never Again, who's just got a white coat and a big overall, and yeah, it's not good. I'm rambling, I'm very off topic. This is a really good story. I mean, if you've been toying with the idea of some 1950s Torchwood, oh, I'll only buy the stuff that's only got the new cast in that was off TV, forget that. You could have Norton. Here's my thought. I've suggested this before, and you already know this. Call the midwife. You use the same sets and the same setup and the same actors if you want. And you set a Torchwood then, and you get Norton to be in it. You can have that as your Marvel expanded universe Torchwood if you want. If that's the sort of thing that floats your boat. It's an instant spin-off with a cast already made who can act everyone's socks off, and it'll just work. The BBC are very good at period drama, and they could make a great period drama about Torchwood in the 50s. Because this is great. The giant, echoey space station craft Black Knight thing from conspiracy theories left, right and centre just works. Liz has produced something of an absolute gem. Ignore this and you've missed out. So until next time, here's the trailer. Decide for yourself, as always. Be seeing you.
Rocket ignition started. 3, 2, 1. We have liftoff.
From Big Finish Productions.
Torchwood, the Black Knight.
Contact lost! Contact lost!
The rocket, sir. It's exploded.
Every Viola rocket has been destroyed at some point in the magnetosphere. I'm saying there's something out there, an object in orbit that is stopping us from leaving this planet. I've dubbed it the Black Knight.
I see. Absurd. Norton Folgate, pleased to meet you.
Really? Not many people are these days.
Oh, I'm a big admirer. And I believe every word you said.
Who do you work for?
Torchwood. We look out for Britain's best interests.
Yeah, but who is he? Where's he from?
All I know is that thanks to him, I'm going to prove that the Black Knight is real.
We won the war and lost our seat at the top table because of people like you.
Gosh, Freddie. Gosh. I'm Torchwood. We're on the side of the British Empire like you wouldn't believe.
If handled properly, the Black Knight can give us back that future.
It's Russian.
Big Finish. For the love of stories.
A Villain in Venice, Jane of the Air, Book 1. A steampunk detective and aviatrix and part-time spy. Available now. All profits to the NHS. That was the Tin Dog Podcast. Available on Spotify, iTunes, Acast, Stitcher and wherever good podcasts are found. Get early access to content by subscribing to the Tin Dog Podcast YouTube channel. You can support the show at patreon.com/tindog. Contact the show on Twitter at tindogpodcast or email tin-dog@hotmail.co.uk. All of the things discussed are the intellectual property of others. No infringement is intended. The Tin Dog Podcast is a founder member of the Doctor Who Podcast Alliance.